hanging out on the patio there. Should be great all weekend long, maybe for Mother's Day. Great place to take your mom, wife, whoever it might be.
We always enjoy hanging out with Mitch Thomas, the head coach at West Ouachita. He joins us on the 4D Contractors Hotline. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing good, Aaron. It's not raining, sun's out, so it's a pretty good day.
That's the line, Mitch, that everybody, all you baseball coaches are sitting here saying. There's no way the weatherman can mess this weekend up, right?
I hope not. Knowing all something to blow in at the last minute. But, I'm telling you, we're so sick of rain. We thought last year it was pretty bad. And then, the first part of this year went pretty good. And then, it's been bad the last few weeks. But it's been nice this week for them to get out and actually go through a normal routine with the sun out and the field drying up. So, we're excited about it.
Well, what has that been like this year in terms of keeping your kids focused and not knowing exactly when or perhaps sometimes where you'll actually play a game?
Aaron, I got to, compliment our kids on how well they've done this year doing that, because we've had issues like, week 3 we had our tournament down at Dental Springs completely washed out. We don't know if we're going down there or not. And then, of course, it flooded up here and, the devastation we had up here. Our kids, some of them, had water in their houses and all that, but they stayed focused throughout. Every time we've had to have a change, they've stayed focused on what's going on. And even with these playoffs, last weekend it was, times were moved. Some people, weren't even sure we were going to play. They understand that, when it comes time to play, we need to be ready. And no matter, when it is, where it is, when we step between the lines, that's the important thing. So, I got to give our kids a lot of credit for staying focused, and no matter what's changed, they've been ready to play.
And that was last weekend also. You dealt with that. I mean, you had to deal with the rain and the weather and field conditions, and we mentioned it last week. Good to have Neville so close where you didn't have to do it, and for them also to not have to travel far, have to worry like Sterlington, for instance, what they had to deal with this past week and stay in extra hotels. But it does put a little, as the home team, and Paul said it last week, and I think it does ring true, home team kind of at a disadvantage with the weather the way it is because you're your own field crew. You got to deal with that along with getting ready, prepare yourself mentally for a baseball game.
Right, Nick. I'm telling you, Paul came out here and we were talking, and we just got through pushing a lot of water off the field, pumping water off the field. And I told him, I said, I don't know if it's worth it being the home team. He started laughing. He said, yeah, being able to just show up and play, he said, that has its advantages too. So, it was a lot of work. But I got to tell you something. My coaches and our freshman JV players, they came out here and busted their tails getting the field ready. And that way our varsity guys didn't have to do it. And I give a lot of credit to our young guys because they got out here. They were here all day and, getting the field playable. And, the good thing was the field, didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game. And I was happy about that because, sometimes when you have, weather and all that, it can affect the game. But, thank goodness our field, it didn't affect the outcome of any of the games. So, we were lucky to get them in, and, I'm glad we did.
You were able to get in your 3-game series. That was not the case in a lot of series across the state. And, of course, there's been a big brouhaha about that, the fact that a lot of them just played one game. And, of course, that team was allowed to advance on by winning that one game. Mm-hmm. What do you make of this minor controversy across the state?
I think it's pretty sorry, I'll be honest with you. I know that we're just following the rules, and the rules that were set down, that's what they say. But, when you have a whole week, I hate to say a week of open time, I just don't understand how we can't push them back and allow them to play their full 3 games because, these teams, they've battled to get to this point, and, and sometimes these, it's out of their hands. There's nothing they can do. And, I understand, the old days when, games were, like Tuesday and Friday, it was just one game. I understand it was harder then to push things back, but, we got a week in between the second round and the quarterfinals. So, I feel for the kids that didn't get a chance to play the 2 out of 3 and it was just one game because, sometimes, they played a Tuesday night game and maybe used their number 1 pitcher and came back on Friday and couldn't throw, and, they get knocked out of the playoffs without ever throwing their top guy in the second round. So, I don't like it. I hope we change it. I hope we do something to make an adjustment because, I don't think it's fair for, once again, it's the kids. They're the ones that's battling and playing their tails off, and then all of a sudden, have it taken away, and, they don't understand.
Will y'all get an opportunity to re-vote on this or have a new motion, new proposal brought up to change this?
I hope so, Nick. I hope we have that. And I'll tell you something else that we've talked, a bunch of coaches talked about, and that's making the first 2 rounds 2 out of 3. And then the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals all be in the state tournament. I think that would be big. Most of your upsets you see are in round 1, when teams have one good arm, and, they throw them and knock off some higher seed round 1. And I thought that's what we were trying to get away from, was, a team riding one pitcher. So, I hope we change this playoff format where we can move in case there's inclement weather, we can move it back and use the whole next week. And also we can change it to have the 2 out of 3 the first 2 rounds instead of the second and third round.
One last thing on the Neville series. Of course, you guys won 2 of 3. How about the performance by your outstanding player, LSU signing Zach Watson in that game where, he had 2 home runs and then came in and closed it out with a save?
He did. Zach really hadn't thrown much this year for us. Luckily, our guys, our starters, have went the distance in most games. But he came in and he closed it, and he had a great series. But Zach's had a terrific year and a terrific career. And the good thing about him, even when people pitch around him, or he can affect the game in so many different ways. I mean, he plays a great shortstop. When he gets on base, he's a constant threat to run. He becomes a distraction, and but for the first game of the series being a big game, Zach came through and had a great first game, and I thought that kind of set the tone for our guys and relaxed us a little bit and allowed us just to go out and play.
Now let's get set for this weekend, and Benton with a fairly short drive coming up from the Bossier region. What do you know about the Tigers? They come in starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
They got 2 exceptional arms. I think that's where you start with them. They got a lefty, Rutledge kid that's going to Arkansas, and they got a righty that I believe is going to Centenary. They've got 2 really good arms that they've ridden all year, and that's where it starts. That's where they get all their momentum from. Those 2 guys go to the mound, and that their numbers in district were unbelievable. I think they outscored the district's opponent something like 120-4, and in the playoffs, they've handled the 2 teams they played, pretty easily, and so they're a really good team. They went to the quarterfinals last year before getting knocked out by Charlie's, and they've won 17, 18 straight games now. So they're hot. They're riding those 2 arms, and they're a good baseball team. We knew going in that they were going to be a good one, but it's like we tell our guys, everybody that's left is good. So there's no bad teams left. So no matter who we matched up with, it was going to be a tough opponent.
Coach, in terms of in general, you look at your team on paper, some would say they're probably not the most talented that you've had throughout the last, 10, 15 years. But what makes this team different, perhaps, than others that you've had?
Aaron, I think the key word is team. This group of guys from day one have, swallowed their egos, pushed them aside, and it's been about playing for each other. And this is, I've said it, this is not the most talented team we've had in a long time here. But this team plays as hard, if not harder, than any group we've ever had here. And I'm talking about every day in practice. They give us everything they've got. Our philosophy, they bought in 100%. Zach's, kind of a superstar, talented kid, and they all rally around him. They're proud of his success, and at the same time, he's a great teammate with these other guys, and he's excited for them. But when I'm telling you team, they are a team, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of where they are, and no matter what's been thrown in their way, they've battled and fought through it, and I'm just excited for this team, and it's a special group.
All right, Mitch, you ready to have a little fun with us as we end this segment? I want to play a little game with you.
Okay, I got you.
Let's play a little fact or fiction, and I'll start off with an easy one. Fact or fiction that you pitched against Roger Clemens in a regional game?
Fact.
You did not give up a run against the Texas Longhorns?
That's fiction. That's fiction.
What'd you give up?
I believe I gave up 3 unearned runs.
I like that. Make sure you get the unearned runs. Right? Unearned runs, okay? Let's get
us pitchers, we always kept up with that now.
All right, we'll continue the game, fact or fiction. Obviously, you were an outstanding pitcher in the college days, an outstanding athlete. Fact or fiction, back in the day, you could dunk a basketball.
Believe it or not, that's fact.
Wow.
But not now.
Oh, no. 2 neck surgeries later, I better not even try to jump.
Fact or fiction that you're a Neville graduate?
Fact. I don't know if they claim me anymore.
Fact or fiction that you wanted to be a basketball coach?
Fact. And I was a basketball coach for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, you've done it all there, right?
Yeah, I was at St. Frederick. I was head basketball coach. Out here, I was actually head girls coach for 1 year and head boys coach for 4. And kind of done it all.
You aced that exam. I hope we can dig up some more hard-hitting questions for you next week as we talk about the semifinals.
I hope so. I hope we're talking about the series.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all having us on.
Good stuff. Unearned runs. You better get that out there now. 3 unearned runs.
And the high-flying Mitch Thomas.
Yeah. Think about what all he's done out there at that school. Head football coach. Some of their most successful years there, as the head football coach. He was also, during that time, head baseball coach. You just said head girls basketball coach, been out there. Athletic director. He's worn a bunch of hats out there and has done a really, really solid job. We compliment that school all the time about the campus whenever you drive. It is kind of out there in the middle of nowhere, but boy, once you come up on it, you're like, wow. And they continue to make unbelievable improvements to all their facilities, both on the school and the athletic side. That new gym is going to be as good as it gets.
Oh, yeah.
And they already had a good gym, some would say, and then you look at the addition. So there you go.
Of course, West Ouachita just one of several teams we still have in the hunt for state championships. Let's go real quickly through the brackets. We start in the 5A ranks. It's a Cinderella story. The Ruston Bearcats still in the hunt is what, a 25